And showtime. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the latest episode of the ChannelPro 5-Minute Roundup. A look at news, trends, and tips for the SMB channel in 5 minutes or thereabouts. My name is Rich Freeman. I am the executive editor of the ChannelPro Network and one of your hosts on this program. With me is my co-host, Eric Simpson, a business transformation and improvement consultant for MSPs and other IT providers. Eric, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Rich. It's a little warm as we get into the end of August and into September, but no, I'm the end of. Holy cow! I blew that hole entirely.
End of July, heading into August, and it's hard to believe we're that deep into the summer, isn't it?
No, yeah, exactly.
Well, I'm home in Seattle, as folks can see here, and the sun is shining, and it's actually comfortable as opposed to too hot, so I'll take it.
Yeah, I was in Nevada a few days ago. It was 110 degrees.
Ouch!
And it was stifling. So yeah, probably in the low 90s here in SoCal. So I'm not complaining.
All right, yeah, cooling off in the low 90s at home.
Yeah.
Well, let's dive into the story of the week here on the 5-Minute Roundup, which comes from our friends at StorageCraft. And they've got a new product launch that they announced this week. It's kind of a combination story. There are two ways in which the story is significant to me. And first off is just the product itself. It is an appliance-based business continuity and backup solution for smaller businesses. The system is called OneSafe Solo 300. The appliance that it utilizes is from StorageCraft's OneSafe product line, which up until now has been focused mostly on mid-sized businesses. They've extended it now down into the smaller business environment. According to StorageCraft, one of these appliances can accommodate 1 to 20 servers. And what the system will do is automatically replicate data on those servers up into StorageCraft's cloud. And then you can actually replicate, or you can virtualize the system that has been taken out by an outage in that StorageCraft cloud, more or less immediately if you run into an outage. So a complete business continuity solution. Interesting just in that regard. All of the pricing on it, by the way, is based on monthly recurring fees. A lot of times in these appliance-based systems, you pay something up front for the hardware and then a subscription fee every month. There is no upfront hardware cost with this model here. It's all through subscription fees. So the product itself is worth looking into, and it's interesting. But what's interesting about the story as well is just this is the first appliance-based business continuity solution from StorageCraft. There are a lot of other BDR kinds of vendors out there. Datto obviously comes to mind immediately. Unitrends, which is owned by Kaseya, others that have appliance-based systems. This is the first time that StorageCraft has done something like that. And from their perspective, it really kind of rounds out the product line for them and gives them a complete selection of backup and business continuity offerings for businesses, small, medium, and large, and for MSPs and solution providers who are really just focused on selling product. So from my perspective, I've been writing a lot about StorageCraft in recent years, and that goes back to the $187 million private equity investment that they accepted in January of 2016. And they have been steadily expanding the product line, growing the company ever since then. And they've really kind of reached a milestone in that process now with the addition of an appliance-based product to the portfolio.
Right, Rich, and it really rounds out that end-to-end portfolio for them. So it allows their partners not to have to go outside of that relationship to address the needs of their smaller clients. And you know what I find really interesting and unique about this offering is there really is no local storage. So the device itself is pretty tiny. I would say it's probably the size of an Apple TV or so from the looks of it, and thus keeps the cost really low. So very low barrier to entry for a partner, very reasonable subscription fees that they can then drop this device in, and the technology that allows them to virtualize in, as they quote, milliseconds is kind of blows my mind, right? So I've not really seen anything quite like this. So I sense that it's going to be quite popular and allow their partners again to deploy more of these rather than having to upsell some of the more costly devices for their smaller clients. So I think a lot of cool, sexy technology and a great story to go with it.
Yeah, so just two facts about the that device. It is 4.5 inches. I'm rounding off, but it's about 4.5 inches square and 2 inches tall. So it is about the size of an Apple TV kind of device. Very compact. And you're right. No onboard storage out of the box, but there is a 2.5 inch drive bay and a USB port, so you could slide up to a 2 terabyte drive into separately purchased into the system if you want to have some local storage and have the capacity to virtualize on site instead of in the cloud, or using the USB port, you could plug in external storage.
Right. I mean, and it just gives a provider, a built-in, default backup and disaster recovery solution, even in their smallest tier or bundles of offerings, which I think is awesome.
Well, let's dive into your tip of the week, which has to do with everyone's favorite source of marketing leads, which is referrals.
Yes. So this week's tip of the week is all about being intentional about building your referral network. Now, we work with organizations of all sizes, and some of them build their business strictly through referrals. Some of them do a combination of referrals and marketing to, colder markets. And some of them, have developed a really intentional and effective marketing strategy that encompasses, more of the latter. And what I want to really focus on is not to forget the value of those referrals. And I know that, when we rely on referrals, we really don't have a lot of control. I mean, there's pros and cons. I mean, you get drug into different verticals or different types of businesses that you may not have any experience in. And sometimes it's hard to see a way through to a quick ROI because you're kind of learning on the job and things like that. But those are absolutely the easiest opportunities to close in anyone's experience. So I'm talking about identifying other providers that are servicing your clients in your desired target market. So you've got janitorial services, you've got moving services, you've got web designers, you've got hosting companies, you've got other folks, printer copier folks, and line of business vendors and things like that aren't your traditional direct vendors that we work with to deliver our services. So identifying these folks, I mean, landscaping companies, furniture, office furniture companies, build a list, identify everyone that services every other type of service organization that services your clients, and build referral relationships with them. And, my numbers say that you may not get referrals from all of them. And sometimes you may be giving them more referrals than they're giving you, but it tends to work out okay in the long run. So think about that.
Yeah, and what I love about this too is the degree to which you're emphasizing non-technology companies. There are going to be people watching right now who get nervous about sharing business with a phone provider or a print provider, because what if these guys get into IT and start stealing my clients? But landscaping companies, janitorial services, etc., they're all serving the same kinds of businesses you are.
Right.
And absolutely, they could be a source of leads for you. And if you're returning the favor, they're going to be happy to do that. Somebody I know, and it may even be you, I'm not sure, but I remember talking to somebody who had a relationship with a realtor. And, every time the realtor set up a business client somewhere in a new office kind of location, it was great having a go-to IT resource you could refer that person to. And they loved getting leads on businesses that were looking around for new office space.
Absolutely. I mean, back when I was running my MSP, I mean, we had relationships with a couple of executive office companies. So every time they'd bring a tenant in, guess what? We got the work. So it worked out great. Commercial realtors, same idea, right? Moving companies, they know when organizations are going to move, sometimes a year in advance. Having great relationships with these types of, as you mentioned, complementary, but not potentially, threatening to take your business. I mean, it's okay to have relationships with printer copier companies and things like that, as long as you have the right referral agreement between them, NDAs, and hey, we won't steal each other's clients and that kind of thing. Then it tends to work out pretty well.
Yeah, I've definitely heard a lot of people do that successfully, but you do want to be a little bit more careful about how it's structured in that particular case.
Yeah.
So we have time for just one more story this week on the 5-minute roundup. And hey, folks, as we record this right now, it is July 25th. Did you know that July 26th, the last Friday actually of every July every year, is National System Administrator Day, National SysAdmin Day? That's right, coming up tomorrow, the 10th actually, National SysAdmin Day, and cause for celebration to be sure for all of us who are sysadmins or know sysadmins. And I am right here now at sysadminday.com, which is the official website of National SysAdmin Day, and just looking at some of the gift ideas here. See if you can detect a theme here that these folks might be leaning on a little bit here. You could get your favorite sysadmin their favorite energy beverage. You could get them a case of iced mocha frappuccino. You could get them a case of Mountain Dew. Whatever it takes, basically, I suppose, to keep these people on the job and resolving your issues. Or if you want to make them happy at the end of the day when they're done with all that sysadmin work, last suggestion here down on the list, a case of their favorite beer or wine. All good suggestions, I would say, Eric.
I think that that'd be great. Give them something to keep them amped up during the day. And at the end of a hard week, which tomorrow will be a Friday, hey, they get to take a little bit of the pressure off by having an adult beverage or two. Why not?
And they know you appreciate them. So say a warm thank you one way or another to the sysadmin in your life, folks, on National SysAdmin Day. Well, that is all the time we have this week on the 5-minute roundup. Thank you very much for joining us. We will be back next week with another episode of the show. Until then, if you like the program, you'd like to maybe take a look at some older episodes, make sure you're kept apprised of the new ones that are coming up. The thing you want to do is go to YouTube and go to the ChannelPro Network channel on YouTube and subscribe to that. Make sure you click the little bell there so you get notifications about new episodes, and we will keep you informed about that rather every week. If you would like to read more about StorageCraft, more about what's going on in the news in this industry, get some more business growth tips, the place to go every day is channelpronetwork.com. We have got great new content for you going up all the time. To learn more about Eric and the work that he does with his clients, the place to go is ericksimpson.com. That is ERICK Simpson.com. Once again, thank you very much for joining us on the 5-minute roundup. We will see you here next week. Until then, enjoy the rest of your week. Eric and I are enjoying the rest of your week already.